And it's great to be here and speak after both Maitreyi and Adi. So that's a line from Wizard of Oz, sorry, which I've adapted. But I work on tigers and bats and many other things. And a lot of the tiger work is resulting from discussions with my ex-student, Anubhav Khan. So basically, well, tigers are going to go extinct soon. And basically, they've already gone extinct in several places like South China, in the Caspian region, and Southeast Asia. And one of the questions which we often wonder about, it's a national obsession, is will tigers go extinct in India? Why, where, and can we do anything about it? The primary cause for this, of course, has been the loss of forest cover, urbanization, increase in population density, which has really fragmented habitats for all wild species across the country. And we've done some work. I'm basically a geneticist. So while I work on wildlife, our lens or approach is to look at their genetic variation. And we've worked in this population, Ranthambore Tiger Reserve. I'm sorry, the picture quality is not that great. I'm not sure why. And we basically showed that, the tigers here are isolated and inbred. So what does that mean? That individuals here are mating with each other, and it's like a small family. It's about 70 animals, and they're all related to each other, almost like first cousins or sibs, which is a very high relatedness. And from all of our knowledge from biology, we would predict that these animals should show signs of inbreeding depression, could go extinct soon, right? So in order to understand this a bit more, we wanted to try and reconstruct this, which is the wild pedigree. So this is basically T something else, and all these lines are this tiger may have mated with this tiger and so on. But these are all kind of like, at this point, they're just stories, right? Like a guide says this or the manager says this. But what we're trying to do, oops, sorry, I'm now again zooming forward, is to put this pedigree together by following individuals and collecting DNA samples from specific individuals. So once we have that, we can actually test this pedigree. So that what that gives us is a set of relationships, kind of a realistic or a inference of this tree. But we have no idea what that actually means for their phenotypes. Can we say anything about skeletal abnormalities, conditions which may show up as a result of inbreeding and so on? And so we're really lacking. We have a lot of genetic data, right? Because of next generation sequencing, which allows us to sequence tiger genomes. But we really don't know much about what this means in terms of how these tigers look, what may affect them in the future. So these are the kinds of questions we're interested in. And the idea is simple. It's basically that because tigers are a national obsession, there are thousands of pictures of each individual. And a lot of these are from, for example, this individual. Also, this is just to show that these are all the guys who do the work. This is the team in the field. This is one tigress, for example. And this is a photograph by Jayant Sharma, who's part of Toehold. He's like a professional wildlife photographer. And he just shared with me, several of his pictures. So these pictures, I mean, can we use these pictures, these thousands of pictures, which are 2D, to reconstruct some kind of a model of this tigress, okay? So this is, for example, the kinds of detailed pictures we can have. These are pictures from my students, so they're not as, professional. And you can see it's almost like all angles. I'm just going to rip through these of this individual, for example, right? And because they have stripes, we can identify these individuals quite conclusively. So the number of individuals is small, but we have lots and lots of pictures. These are all the professional pictures by Jayant Sharma of the same individual, right? Of basically different angles, different backgrounds, and so on and so forth. These are all from this park, Ranthambore, and this particular individual, okay? And Jayant Sharma is just one person who does this. If you go to Instagram, which I'm not on, but I got my students to help me with, you'll find that there's many people who have lots and lots of tiger images. Sorry. So this is, for example, just a sample. So in publicly available spaces, social media, there's tons of images which are available, not just ours, And I think that maybe it's possible to, collect all of these images, and I don't know, but maybe it would be very interesting if we could try to kind of reconstruct these tigers and then look at initially very simple things like striping pattern, heritability of those patterns. How does that correlate with our pedigree? Can we detect skeletal abnormalities and so on? I know nothing about how to do it, but it's just a wish in a sense. So the other thing which I have been working on for some time is trying to understand zoonotic spillover. And this is just to motivate that this is an important question. India is a hotspot for potential spillover in the future because of several reasons. We already talked about land use, land cover change being one of them. And amongst animals or species from which we expect spillover, the most likely are bats and rodents. They're very speciose. There are many bats, many rodents. And unfortunately, our knowledge about the viruses or the bacteria they harbor is very poor. So again, what we can do is we can go to the field, we can catch these bats, we can catch these rodents, we can get biological material from them, and we can sequence the hell out of what is there, right? So we can get viral genomes. These are unknown viruses, right? It sounds like a big deal, but it's actually not. Most of the viruses are unknown, most bacteria are unknown. But then what? What do we do with that? Again, our ability to understand which of these may spill over just from spillover is separate, but which of these will infect, say, human cells, just from a biochemistry perspective, cell biology perspective is poor. So can we actually use ML-based approaches? You heard about predicting protein structure. That itself is so tough, right? But here we're talking about a whole organism. Can we predict these structures and interactions with cells? And then can we also think about like bigger questions of spillover itself, which depends on patterns of interaction, models of interaction between humans and wildlife, and basically the intersection of hazard and risk. The fact that bats carry these viruses is not going to change, that's hazard, but how we interact with that hazard can be minimized to minimizing risk. So I'll stop there. I hope I didn't take too much time. Thank you.